It's great to be here. Great to see everybody. There's definitely some familiar faces and a few familiar names as well. So thanks so much for the invite and thanks for having me. But indeed, I love paper. I love old paper. And my life, my professional career has been in music ministry. So anytime I can find intersections like that specifically is one of the things that John and I get to talk about, are the ways that my hobbies, my interests, my profession intersect. And of course, for me, that's going to be scouting and sheet music, and then anything that might be maybe sacred, maybe like the Philmont hymnal, or things of that nature. Any of those sorts of things that really check lots of boxes for me. Music, sacred, and scouting, those are real interests of mine. But I certainly love all things music, and I love printed music. And so that's why tonight we're going to do a presentation on scouting sheet music. And these aren't going to be the little campfire, song books that we all have and are in the there's a stack of them in the silent auction for $2. There's a few early ones of those which are really cool, but this is actual sheet music. And so I wanted just to, I've got better pictures, but I just wanted to share my portfolio. This is all my different stuff dating back. 1917 is the earliest one I have now. And I think a lot of you will recognize some of the covers as we go through, maybe from just flipping through stuff at a tradery or even seeing it on eBay. But kind of like collecting vinyl for some people, I really love the covers. It's the graphics that get me. Of course, I'm interested in the music too, but I really love a lot of the artwork. And let's see here. I'm going to do a little bit of screen sharing. Please interrupt if you can't hear or if something's not coming through correctly. But let's see. This is a great cover, and I've always enjoyed. Fred Waring was a Boy Scout. We all probably at least know Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians, and he was a scout. And he, of course, is an incredible songwriter. But Fred Waring wrote this for his scoutmaster, dedicated it to his scoutmaster, Uncle John Porter, scoutmaster of Troop 1 in Tyrone, Pennsylvania. But I just love this cover. It didn't even have to be a Fred Waring song. It's a solo by Fred, but I just love the cover. The orange is bright. It's got the fleur-de-lis. It's got this scout and this garrison cap, and it's just one of my favorites. And so actually, I've made a couple recordings, and so I want to play a little bit of this song for you. Thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, these are the traits you'll find. He'll learn to know right, he'll learn to grow right. If he's a scout, he'll learn to look and then to go right. He'll learn to see right, he'll learn to be right. If he's a scout, he'll learn to think and then to do right. He'll be ready when he should, wide awake and with a smile. Every turn he does is good, helping others all the while. He'll learn to work right, he'll learn to play right. If he's a scout, he'll learn to start, he'll learn to stay right. He'll learn to walk proud. Oh, let's go back here. Oh, yeah. Right, listen. Okay. He'll master woodcraft, healthcraft, handicraft, and campcraft. Everything a boy should learn to do. Scout, tenderfoot, second class and first class, star knife and Eagle Scout too. He'll learn to know right, he'll learn to grow right. If he's a scout, he'll learn to look and then to go right. He'll learn to see right, he'll learn to be right. If he's a scout, he'll learn to think and then to do right. He'll be ready when he should, wide awake and with a smile. Every turn he does So that's the Fred Waring song. I just think it's a whole bunch of fun. And so, I just love the fact that it's just, these are all solo songs that I mostly collect, but also there's a lot of piano music that really is the majority of the sheet music that's out there. It's usually piano music, and most of it really has that march kind of feel. Like if any of you are musicians or played in the band, there's always that tempo marking where it might say, presto or allegro or whatever it might be. Most of these have a tempo marking of in the style of a march. And let me see if I can find one like that. Like this, for example, it just says march tempo right here in the corner. And a lot of the music is going to be that way. It's written in that march style, and this is all through the different eras of the music, all the way back. This one's from 1919. This one here, Boy Scouts of America. It has a neat cover. This is the cover, and I love this one. I love the font. I love the actual photograph of Scouts. But this one is from 1919. Just love everything about it, getting to see those Scouts in those amazing old uniforms, and just knowing that we could have purchased this for 25 cents, which was a little pricey back in 1919 for sheet music. Most of it would go for 10 cents or whatever, but they all talked about patriotism so often. These were very, very patriotic songs. And it was very interesting, especially in those teen years, to see, of course, a lot of linkage to Uncle Sam was coming into. I think does anybody know when Uncle Sam first came out? I think it had to be sometime in the teens, because some of this music refers to Uncle Sammy. And so I wondered about those earlier days. I didn't know it off the top, but the lyrics really speak nicely about being prepared, being helpful in every way. Here's one of those references. We're coming, Uncle Sammy, in our khaki uniforms. And so we're coming, Uncle Sammy, proud and strong. We pledged our duty to old glory. So you can see all those patriotic themes that are throughout, a really strong connection to our nation, to those nationalistic ideals. And then let's see. This one, as you can see, really plain Jane cover. So this one didn't sell me on the cover like some of the others. Some of the others I've never even played a note of the music, but I just love the cover. But this one, I just like that it was plain. And again, if you know anything about music, a lot of the songs are in this cut time. If you remember things that might be in 2/2 or cut time from your days in band or chorus, and so if they usually have this march kind of sound, and they're also in this cut time. And let me think. I think I've got a little snippet of this one, the Boy Scout anthem. I'll play this for you guys.
We're Boy Scouts of America, on the land, on the lakes, on the sea. On our honor we will do our best for God and our country. We're Boy Scouts of America, alert and strong, clean and brave, kind and free. To our neighbors we will lend a hand. It's the Boy Scout destiny. He is trustworthy true to ourselves and to all. Reverent we will always be, we'll obey the Boy Scout law.
So that one was just a lot of fun. When I found this one and I opened it up, that plain Jane cover, I said, now this just looks like a lot of fun. And that's one I can easily hear other people joining in on and just having a really good time with. So that was a great one. This is one that Larry and I have spoken about within the last couple months. And this was actually the song of the World Jamboree in the Philippines. And so a beautiful cover, as you can see, really just very colorful, great drawings, great graphics. Of course, has the logo, the patch, if you will, on there. You can even see the gateway right here. This is the camp gateway, and it's spelling welcome. Of course, in the artwork, there's LCOME. So a nice gateway entryway to the camp. And this piece was really neat because it's written in both English and Filipino. I do not sing or speak Filipino, but this is actually a really neat song. Again, there's that cut time signature again. I just knew it was going to be in there, but it's not necessarily a march, but it is rather spirited, and so it's got a pretty neat chorus to it and everything. And so here's a little bit, it's about a minute of the World Jamboree song.
From every clime and region we cross the vale and sea. In the Philippines now for our World Jamboree. Here east and west are meeting as heaven so decrees. We live and work and play in true fellowship and peace. Scouts who are here, let the message of BP now resound loud, loud and clear. I am your brother and friend, so take my hand. The God and country, mankind and scouting, we shall stand, forever stand.
So there again, I love the reference to BP specifically. Let the message of BP resound loud and long. I love that. Speaks of brotherhood. And here again, God and country, the patriotic, but references, lots of references and snippets that aren't terribly overt to just the tenets of scouting and citizenship and scout oath, scout law. And so I just thought that was a really special piece of music. And Larry and I were talking a couple days ago as well about what we think might be a World Jamboree song from an earlier Jamboree in the 20s. And so we're going to investigate that a little bit more. But that one's really special, has a great cover, great graphics. This one is incredibly special from 1917, when everyone was encouraged to plant a garden, and of course there was badges you could earn or a medal, right? I forget the name of it, but that was a scouting program. You could plant a garden, maintain a garden, and earn a medal for that. But I just love the title of this, the graphics, even the red, white, and blue border. Every scout to feed a soldier is listed here as the slogan of the Boy Scouts of America. So clearly we had adopted that in 1917. But hoe your little bit in your own backyard. And up here at the very top, dedicated to the Boy Scouts of America. And I just love his uniform. He's got his cord, his day pack bag across his shoulders. And here we've got the Great Ames Society as the publisher at the bottom. I just think this is so cool. And so this one, again, really, really special. What I like about some of these, oops, sorry, is that in a lot of these, I shouldn't say a lot, but several are available in different options. Down here in the corner, this was available for your band, your orchestra, your fife and drums, and also male quartet. Isn't that neat? There's another piece I'm going to play for you later that's available similarly. It's only for instrumentals, but you could get this in many different ways. So for a dime, you and 3 of your friends could get together and sing this for male quartet. But you can see the copyright 1917 by the Great Ames Society. And I don't know how many of you still have this, your talking machine or your player piano. I know what a player piano is. I'm not sure what a talking machine is, but this composition may also be had for your talking machine or player piano. I love reading that and just seeing all this neat things from the times that are clearly not. I guess our talking machine now is our iPhone. I'm not sure, but speaking of our talking machine, I've got a snippet of this song for you. This is Hoe a Little Bit in Your Own Backyard, Where the Boy Scouts Go.
Lay down the playing and take up the hoe, for that is the way to make things grow. The life of the world will not be at stake. The best way to help is with hoe and rake. Boys in the trenches cannot fight, you know, without the boys at home with the hoe. For sharp is the hoe and straight is the road where the Boy Scouts go. 'Tis ho, ho, ho. Feeding the soldiers every scout should know means the boys at home won't ho. The way to make a hit is to go your little bit, go your little bit in your own backyard.
So there again, just a wonderful way that the Scouts were celebrated and encouraged through music, and that frankly, it was part of our society during this time. Where we don't really see much Scout sheet music coming out anymore. But this really speaks to different eras. And here again is a wonderful example of what this is one very appealing to me. This one's just very, very clean, very pretty. I like that it has the first class emblem on it, or at least the eagle and shield and the be prepared scroll. I always am on the lookout for any covers that have that official stamp on them. But this is another piece that you can see is available for piano, for just 2-hand piano or 4-hand piano, or down here, orchestra or band. And I have this one in the 2-hand and the 4-hand piano edition. And I was able to record very quickly the 2-hand version. And maybe this will be your theme music, John, I'm not sure. But this one actually is a ton of fun. There's no words, just a piano solo. And so here goes the March of the Boy Scouts. So yeah, and that I think that one would be fun to hear as a band, as an orchestra, or even with the four-hand piano. You would hear a lot more probably high octaves and low octaves as well. And I just think that would be a really, really cool piece. So that'll be our next project is to record the four-hand piano version. But those are some of my favorites that I've taken just a little bit of time to record. And I wanted to share with you some of the covers that I find especially appealing, but this is the bulk of my sheet music collection in photographs. I think this is just striking, just a tremendous, tremendous um, piece of artwork. Again, most everything you see is going to be titled a march. It's really very interesting that just association with scouting and at least the march style, that really that military correlation. Boy Scouts dream, um, just a great camp scene, signaling, using binoculars, practicing first aid and other things around camp. You'll see also two-step as a lot of the marking dedicated to the Boy Scouts of America, but again, just really neat graphics here. Everything from the eagle, and I see this right here, ABS. I assume that was early enough to stand for American Boy Scouts. I assume that's what that means. So that's what I've taken that one to mean, even though it says Boy Scouts of America at the top. I took that ABS to mean American Boy Scouts. This one again has that wonderful wonderful Boy Scout graphic right on the front with sort of that official seal, the Boy Scouts Patriot March, Boy Scouts Parade. I just think that's beautiful. That one's really striking in person. Boy Scouts March for piano. This is actually the one I showed you that was, I have the two-hand and the four-hand of. Sorry, it's not turned. Again, the March of the Boy Scouts. This was written in 1960 for the 50th anniversary. As you can see clearly, the Golden Jubilee song. That one's actually very wordy. It has a lot of words that go by very quickly, but a very nice tribute indeed. Cub Scout March, just the sweetest little cover for a young piano student, and the music reflects that. Sort of an early piano piece for a young student. Scenes from Scout Camp. So, canoeing on a hike, lights out, all kinds of great pieces that sort of depict those scenes from Scout Camp. I love the drawing on this one, the Boy Scout Parade. I just think that drawing is really spectacular. Just seeing the representation of all those scouts, the badges, all the campaign hats, everything about that. Again, I love the artwork, the musical artistry, and then the visual artistry that complement each other. This one, very plain. It's just a fold-out sheet, the Explorer song. But again, it's a bright March beat. So always finding that March tempo. This was an example, sorry I didn't get it turned, of the same piece of music with two different covers. So it's called Onward, My God and Country. It's also by Fred Waring. And this is a beautiful blue cover. You can see Washington in the background, like from the Jamboree design. And then this is the same exact song, just with probably a later printing that's just much more plain, Onward for God and Country. So I always think those are a nice comparison, but this is the much prettier cover. Again, just a really nice camp scene, scouts running and playing, perhaps a bit of bugling there to call them to order or something of that nature. Again, the scout seal right there, love always seeing that official stamp on things, Scouts on Parade. I like this one for the different camp scenes and of course the Scout sign. That's just a pretty, you can see the reflections on the water, the Scout standing there, almost reminiscent of places at camp, or not high enough to be the tea table there, but certainly gives some reminiscent things there. I like this one for several reasons, but especially I like that little Scout, but I also just like the two little circles here, the portrait silhouettes of the, you know, of the Scouts there, or the profiles, I should say. I just find that really, really lovely. This one also from earlier teens time, as you can see that reference to Uncle Sammy. Uncle Sammy wants us now. And so another striking cover, very much like the one that was Ho a Little Bit in Our Own Backyard. But you can see it's a call to action. Let's all do something because your country needs you. This one's very pretty in person. Again, another march. This one very plain, just black and white. But I love the title, Toughen Up, Buckle Down. I thought that was pretty great. Very colorful, Uncle Sammy. We've got fife and drum, very patriotic. All the Scouts march in a two-step. Just a nice camp scene there, again with the bugle. This one's very nice in person. We've got the BSA march. You don't see BSA on much of the music, but you've got the nice first class, Boy Scouts of America. Just a very pretty design. Nice font, nice look about the entire piece. This one, very Walter Cronkite-esque, that due to our television time, but the Boy Scout March, recorded by the Indianapolis Boy Scout Band. So some of our collectors of Indianapolis band will appreciate that one. Great striking cover, very patriotic, of course, Tomorrow's America. All of these, usually the songs always talking about duty and duty to country and being helpful. Very nice camp scene. And then this is one of my favorites. Just incredible seeing the early flag shapes with that swallowtail style flag, the early uniforms, all the marvelous white tents in the background. Again, the Boy Scout symbol, and just a really beautiful, beautiful cover, beautiful artwork, available for band and orchestra, as well as piano. And of course, this was bought in the music department at Woolworth. So hopefully you got some of your music at Woolworth back in the day. And this is a neat one just because it has an actual photograph of a Scout printed on it. That he's got his Scout gloves, his stave, the marvelous belt, the early jacket or perhaps tunics. And then that's complemented by nice drawings. You can see Scouts perhaps doing some stalking and other camp activities, cooking and things of that nature. Again, just a very patriotic, red, white, and blue Uncle Sam reference. A very simple Explorer song, or actually this one's On My Honor, not the Explorer song, but just a simple sheet of music. And then this is a special one from the National Jamboree at Valley Forge with Mickey and Donald holding hands with the Scout. And of course, it's a march, but officially sponsored by Walt Disney with his blessing. And so The 1950 Jamboree in Valley Forge has Mickey and Donald on it there as well. That is all of my photos. I hope some of you are still awake after the all of that good stuff, but that's the kind of thing that really that just really sparks my interest. I love the artistry of the music. I love the artistry of the graphics and everything it represents, the different eras, as well as just all that is scouting. And all that music speaks to me very deeply.
Ralph Reeder was a UK scout leader by 1934-35. He was putting on Broadway shows. They were called the gang shows out of the UK. He wrote all the music. He put them all together. And in fact, gang shows in the UK are still going on to this very day. And some of them will make thousands and thousands of dollars for the UK Scouting Association, depending on what where they're being performed. They performed them at the West End of London, England. They were huge, huge, especially during World War II into the late 40s and in the 50s. Massive, massive shows, like a Broadway hit out of the UK.
So what is a gang show exactly?
Gang show is songs, plays, skits, cheers, about 2.5 hours, usually all geared around scouting.